Hello, welcome back to the podcast. I'm trying to just record in the moment, making sure that the camera is on so it can go on YouTube with no thought to how I look. Barely look like I've washed my hair today. But welcome back. I'm Vicky. If you haven't listened before, if you're listening on audio, you don't need to know about whether I've brushed my hair or not. This is just a little bite-sized episode based on a discussion that I had with a member of the Social Work Collective Academy. So that is my membership. It's for early career social workers. It's also really helpful for practice educators, ASYE assessors. We talk all about skills and practice development, and our framework is all about calm, competence and confidence. And for members of the collective, I run quarterly live masterclasses. So we had one last night and the focus was on staying connected when conversations are hard. And one of my lovely members who I've known now for over 2 years, I know how much she cares about practice. I know how exceptional she is at what she does, even if she isn't always ready to hear that feedback. She was talking about a family that she was working with where conversations are really difficult, and at times her visits can be up to 2 hours. She gives a lot and she knows that and she's aware of it, and she's doing things that are really helpful. She asked lots of questions and we had lots of solutions about things that she could try and things that could help for this particular pattern of conversation. And what was amazing actually is another person on the call. Just shows you like the people in the membership are just amazing. Another person on the call gave her a really good direct work idea to use as well, which felt really special because you just know that the right people are finding the academy. But my main feedback to her, because one of the things that we talked about in the masterclass was actually about our boundaries and how we can contain spaces for conversation. My feedback to her was that for her next visit, before the visit or just when she gets there, she needs to state the amount of time that she actually has. Even if she says, I have an hour, I'm going to be here for 1 hour, I'm going to have to leave at 4:30. The reason I said that to her is because some of the things that she was describing, the patterns that she was seeing, they were happening whether she was there for 1 hour or 2 hours. But because she was there for 2 hours, that's an extra hour out of her day, going through the same pattern, not necessarily seeing much change because of the time that she was there, but feeling really drained afterwards. And actually, when you're thinking about an intervention, isn't always an amazing word because intervention is kind of forced, isn't it, rather than accepted. But when we're talking about direct work and the way we help families, we do talk about this idea, this concept of intervention. If your intervention is if your intervention requires a lengthy time, that's fine. Be there for 2 hours. If you need to be there and you've got capacity, then be there for 2 hours. But if the time frame isn't necessarily making an impact, switching the needle on what you're doing, all you're doing is moving yourself closer to burnout. It is okay to tell somebody how much time you have. It is okay for you to say, this meeting is going to be 45 minutes long, or this visit is going to be an hour. And when I have 10 minutes to go, I'm going to let you know because I really don't want to rush off. Again, with your meeting, you say we're going to be here till 5 o'clock. At 4:45, even if somebody's talking, I'm going to pause everyone because I want to make sure that we all leave with our actions. I want to make sure that we all end the meeting at the same time and we all know what we're doing. And if there's other things we need to cover, then we'll do that as well. So I wanted to give you that little bite-sized reminder. It's okay for you to hold the space by naming the amount of time that you have. And actually, when we think about what helps people feel safe, sometimes time constraints can help that. Because if I'm sat in a room with you and I'm not sure how long it's going to take, I'm not sure what time you're going to leave, I know that I've got to pick the kids up from school or put tea on, or I've got another meeting to go to, or maybe there's just something that I want to do. But if there's a power dynamic there, I don't want to say, oh, sorry, do you know how long you're going to be? Or do you know when you're going to leave? Because I don't want to seem rude. Actually, if you can come in as a social worker or as someone who's leading the meeting, whatever it is, and say, this is the amount of time that we've got, you are giving everybody in that room a boundary. And boundaries can really help us. Boundaries can help us feel safe. Someone can know that, okay, she's not going to be here way into 2 hours. I don't need to panic about putting dinner on now because I know that she's going to be gone in 45 minutes. The same thing in a meeting. People will be much more clear about what they say and how they say it because you have named time as a boundary. Now, that's not to say, and I hope this is clear, but we'll just have to caveat, that's not to say, if somebody is breaking their heart and crying on their sofa and you've been talking about something really difficult, obviously we're not going to go, oh, sorry, time's up, I need to go. I know that you wouldn't do that anyway. So I'm not talking about this being completely restrictive. I'm not talking about us being so beholden to time that we forget our empathy. What I am saying is that you will be able to reflect on all the different times where you haven't done this, where you haven't been specific about a time, when you haven't said, this is how long I've got for a home visit. Because you have to think about all the tasks that you've got to do in a day as well. So if you don't go in and say, I've got an hour, and people think that you have more time, you're going to be in a really tricky situation where you have to interrupt them, where you have to end the visit, where things haven't been resolved because you've got someone else to go and see. And if you are late for them, that's going to really offset your relationship with them, isn't it? And there's no good you saying, I'm so sorry, the last meeting overran. You're just going to be on the back foot all day. So it's safer for you, but it can also be safer for other people as well to help them understand the time you have. We also really want to think about how we're using time. There's an amazing book called Direct Work with Children and Young People. It's by Audrey Tate and Helen Wosu. And I still use it all the time. There's also a really good one called Direct Work with Family Groups. And the one thing I remember from that book, and I got that book in my first year of practice, was that they were so specific about children's attention spans. And what they talked about was actually quality versus quantity. You can still do quality work, intervention, interaction, whatever you want to call it. You can still do that in a shorter space of time. And when children have attention spans of 4, 5, maybe maximum 10 minutes, 10 minutes may be all that you have, but that 10 minutes can be filled with quality, whatever you decide to do. The same when you're working with a family, the same when you're sat face to face with an adult, the same when you're in a meeting. Often, I'm sure there's research on this, I can't remember what the theory is, but we work to the time that we have. There's definitely a theory, can't remember. If I can, I'll put it in the show notes. So if you have 1 hour to do something, you will work to that time constraint. If someone says you've got 2 days to do this, you will take longer to do it because someone's told you you've got 2 days. I'm not talking about ultra efficiency and rushing people through. That's not what I'm talking about. But I'm asking you to consider the alternative of what I'm suggesting. Because if you are someone who your visits always run over and you feel like you haven't actually got anywhere, if your meetings take too long and you find it really hard to interrupt people, if you are leaving work at the end of the day and you're exhausted, if you are going on home visits and you are there for hours and hours, but there's not actually any significant change happening because you're there, that's maybe a sign that you need to pull back and think about not just your timings, but how you share those with people. Really, really simple boundary that you can put in place to protect yourself and take care of yourself. It then means, magically, you have more capacity to give time when it is needed. So please let me know if that was helpful for you. I would love to know if you're going to implement this. I would love to know if you resonated with any of this, if it's made you go, oh yeah, I definitely do that. And if you would find anything else around this topic helpful. Our Staying Connected When Conversations Are Hard masterclass is inside the Collective Academy. You can access it now. All you need to do is go to the show notes, click the link. You can join as a member immediately. It's a rolling contract, so access all the resources inside there to watch and download as and when you need. And if you have any questions, I'm here. Comment. You can send me an email, vicky@socialworksorted.com. I'm on Instagram, vickyshevlin_, and I will see you for the next video.